This movie needs to come with a PTSD warning for people with toxic exes, because flashbacks. So Obsession is a 2026 horror film directed by Curry Barker. He is one half of the comedy sketch duo known as This Is a Bad Idea, the other half being Cooper Tomlinson, who's in the movie as in a supporting role. But front and center, we have Indy Navarrete and Michael Johnston as Nikki and Bear. This film is Curry Barker's, I think, his second film overall, but his first, like, studio-made film, and it's awesome. Such a great way to introduce yourself as a filmmaker to the public. I think it's awesome that we're getting so many YouTube creatives, behind the camera in Hollywood productions. I know we had Chris Stuckman doing Shelby Oaks last year. We have Kane Parsons doing The Backrooms in a few weeks. And we even had Markiplier doing The Iron Lung a few months ago. And I just think it's awesome that these creatives who started off small on YouTube, growing their content, getting their ideas out there, are now able to express their ideas on the big screen. That's so awesome, because the more creative we get behind the camera, the better these movies are going to be. And that is shown with Obsession. This movie is probably my second favorite movie of the year. It's so good. It lives up to the hype. And I had high expectations for this movie. I saw the reactions that came out when the reviews first, started to trickle down. And I was super excited just based off the first trailer. I think we got it back in December for this movie. And yeah, no, this film does not disappoint. Every minute of the hour and 50-minute runtime is used to its highest potential. This movie, you can't really tell it's made by a first-time director. Maybe a little bit in the dialogue, but I mean, if that's the biggest negative of the movie, no, yeah, this guy really, hits it out of the park. And I think that has a lot to do with Indy Navarrete. Her, performance as Nikki just sells the entire movie. I think a weaker actress in that role wouldn't have been able to bring out all the emotions that she brings out in you, because you feel empathy and you feel bad for this character 1 second, and then the next second you're terrified of her and you want her to be nowhere near you. This movie centers around Nikki and Bear, who are a pair of best friends in a friend group, and just like any boy and girl best friend, the boy is secretly in love with the girl, but I mean like in love with this girl. He's obsessed. He's the first one that starts off obsessed with her, but he doesn't have the backbone to tell her how he feels. So for him, it's easier to just make a wish using a willow tree branch that, she loves him more than anyone in the world. And this movie really hits home the idea that be careful what you wish for, because it just might come true. And that's what happens for him. She not only loves him more than anyone in the world, she becomes totally and fully obsessed with him, having him around, not losing him. What does he want? And it goes so far that it really stops being the girl that he was in love with. And I think that's what's so awesome about this movie, that it invites conversation and thought, and it provokes thought, in which, what is it to love someone? What is it to just be infatuated, to be obsessed? Because once Nikki becomes the girl that's in love with him, she's not Nikki anymore. It's not the girl that he was in love with. Her will is gone. Everything that she wanted to do, her dreams, her hopes, any action that she took is gone. It's just this entity that has only one mission, and that's to love Bear. And he's aware of that. He's made aware of that maybe midway through the movie, and he kind of doesn't care. Like, it's still like, I don't want to lose what I have with her because she finally loves me. And then it becomes, does he really love her in that case? Which is no, obviously, because when you love someone, love is unselfish. It wants what's best for the other person, even if that doesn't involve you. And in his case, he's willing to throw everything out the window just so she can keep being in love with him. But it's not just a obsession or love. This girl, this entity, because it's not her anymore, this entity is completely psychotic. It is that toxic ex-girlfriend that you had, or boyfriend, that, just is just a living nightmare. I don't know if any of you have ever had that relationship. I had, and it is just not what you want. Wouldn't recommend. 0 out of 10 experience. And Indy Navarrete plays that part so well. She terrifies you with her performance, and how she can go from Nikki, the real person, to that entity at the flick of a light. She is so good in the role, and like I said before, any other weaker actress in the role wouldn't have been able to do what Indy Navarrete does. And that's part of what makes the movie so great. There's some comedy in the movie that doesn't feel out of place. It feels natural, and it feels a lot like Curry Barker's sketches on This Is a Bad Idea, but that's not a bad thing. I think it's a good relief of tension in certain spurs of moments, because for the most part, this movie is just high octane, full anxiety, and spreading that uncomfortable feeling throughout the whole runtime. I think, this inspires so much conversation about what it means to love someone. At what point does it become obsession? And it great movie. That's all I have to say. I feel like I had more thoughts, but all I can think about right now is how great that performance was, and that I should go watch this movie again. So that's what I recommend to you. Go watch it in theaters, watch it more than once. This movie is a modern day horror masterpiece, and I recommend everybody, even if you're not a fan of horror, this movie isn't too gory. It does have the scares. I think anyone can go into it and have a really great time, and walk out maybe talking to your partner, your sibling, your friend, your parent, whoever, about the themes of the movie, because it gets kind of dark, considering that the girl loses her free will. She kind of pops out every now and then, the real Nikki, out of the entity, and we'll kind of see her, beg to be let out and to get her, her will back. But then she snaps back into the entity, and that it gets really dark. I highly recommend this movie. That's it for Obsession. Thank you.